is growing
Everything.
at a faster pace where we are lucky we have somebody that does the research and can get back to us, but I can't stress this enough. If you're not part of a good mastermind, or if you don't have a place where you can go and ask these questions, you're going to be lost.
Lunch with the lunch with the lunch with the lunch with
Hey, everybody, and welcome to 2024, our first podcast of the year. Okay, now, my son is away. I don't know what he did, but I bet you he did not. Well, I bet you he did what everybody else did New Year's Eve. But let me just see. I got a couple things I got to do because I got to understand how to do this. All right, there we go. Okay, let me start from the top. Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing advertising best practices for 2024. We're going to be talking about advertising. What does it look like to advertise to sellers in 2024? What are the ways to still be smart and profitable with ads, and the advertising trends in 2024? Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Now, let me see if I can do this. Okay, we are back, and I'm kind of doing two jobs today, so I'm trying to see what to do next. Okay, I got sponsors over here. I've never done this side of it. I think I did it once. Okay, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA podcast. And today we are talking about advertising best practices for 2024. Our guest is a returning guest, CEO of PPC Ninja. She's very passionate about applying data analytics to get better ROI on PPC. She has shared her knowledge on over 100 podcasts, webinars, blogs, and conferences, including the Prosper Show, Global Sources Summit, PowWow, and the winner of the virtual $1 Billion Sellers Summit from Kevin King in 2023. And I am talking to a multiple returning guest, Ritu Java. But before that, let me just see if I can find a sponsor, because they will be mad with me. Okay, here we go. Are you struggling to keep up with your Amazon business? Do you need help from a skilled, reliable virtual assistant? Well, look no further than the Virtual Assistant Academy, or VAA Philippines. Founded by successful Amazon sellers who know the challenges of hiring quality VAs, VAA specializes in locating, screening, training, and supporting high-quality VAs in the Philippines. Their VAs receive extensive Amazon training and ongoing professional development and are committed to a long-term working relationship with you. Partner with VAA and experience the peace of mind knowing that you have a dedicated Amazon-trained VA who's up to date with the latest tools and trends in the dynamic Amazon marketplace. Head over to VAAphilippines.com and let VAA match you with your ideal VA. And get right into it. I'm going to bring Ritu in here. Oh my gosh. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Happy New Year. I'm good. Happy New Year.
Oh, and Happy New Year to you too. Now, you are the brave one because you came on with me and I'm doing everything today. So I don't know how this is going to go, but I do know one thing. I've got a coffee and I have my Coke Zero and I have a great guest.
Well, I have my peppermint tea and I'm, talking to you on January 1st. I can't believe it. This is awesome.
2024. Like, where did 2023 go?
I know. It just flew. Yeah.
It was incredible.
It was a great year. Yeah.
One of the things I should say is I want to just say hi to everybody who's tuning in right now. I can see there's a bunch of people listening. Surprise. And there's people that are in the comment section. So by the way, if you are in the comment section, make sure if you have any questions for Ritu, and it usually does fill up fairly quickly, but make sure you ask it earlier on, because we do typically have a lot of questions for PPC. But I do want to say hi to Luke and Rad and Lovekesh, Drip, and Steve Fillion out in Chicago. Happy New Year's, everybody. And you know what? Thanks for being part of the community. that is something that Kelsey would be talking about. Is we have a really great community. We've expanded it this year. We've gone from our Facebook group. So if you're interested, go over there. We have a very, very active, I can't believe how active, but a very active WhatsApp group, and also our newsletter, which if you read today's newsletter that just went out, yes, my virtual assistant did call me to tell me that she killed her boyfriend. So you can read that story in this week's newsletter. So I'll just leave it. It's a cliffhanger. just looking at your face, Ritu.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Was this like a virtual game or something?
No,
I'm
it
just,
was for real.
oh my
Yep.
God.
Yeah, she
Oh,
it's a crazy, crazy, crazy story with a
oh my goodness.
wild twist in the end, which
Mm.
nobody will believe, but it's all true. It's like my hijacking story. Nobody believed that, but I'm putting them all in these newsletters. Everybody's asking me for these stories. I got a ton of them, and we're going to be putting them in every newsletter, and hopefully applying it to some sort of business practice. And I'm not saying go out and do anything like that. But yeah, if you are interested, you can always go to the subscription. You can always go to Lunch with Norm, or you can go to normfarrar.com and sign up for the newsletter. All right. And if you do have any questions, throw them in the comments section. All right, let's get into it. What's happening? What's different from 2023 to 2024 with PPC?
Yeah, so um, last year we had so many new feature releases from Amazon in the advertising space. And I think people haven't yet caught up to them even. There was the Unboxed, and even at Accelerate, there were so many new features that were released, and they continue to do so. And I think it's important to kind of just take stock of all the stuff that's been discussed. If you go to LinkedIn, you'll probably find a bunch of recaps. I would recommend everyone just look out for some of the recaps. Maybe look for Jeff Cohen. His recap is generally very, very good. I mean, of course, he represents Amazon, but then you can also look at David Zimmerman's recap of 2023 and like all of the highlights of the year. So yeah, I think it's just getting very, very fast paced, and people who are in the lead, they are able to kind of still keep up with all that's happening. But for the majority of the people, it's like the Wild West. Like things are just changing so fast
Right.
that unless you are like completely tuned in with what's going on in the advertising world, you'll be left behind. That's basically where I was coming from. Yeah, I don't know, Norm, are you seeing the same as well?
Absolutely, but not only in PPC, with everything. Everything is growing
Everything.
at a faster pace where I mean, we are lucky we have somebody that does the research and can get back to us, but I can't stress this enough. If you're not part of a good mastermind, or if you don't have a place where you can go and ask these questions, you're going to be lost. And you have a mastermind, don't you? I'm
I do. Yeah, I do. And as a matter of fact, it's starting in January. So I keep doing these masterminds that are very short, like four
Yeah.
weeks long. And the next one is starting in Jan. And then, once you sign up for it, you can keep coming back to our mastermind programs.
Now, I think there's
And
people on the call
Mhm.
that have
Mm,
gone to your masterminds, and I didn't know that, by the way.
cool.
I just
Yeah.
thought you had an ongoing mastermind, but
Yeah.
this is something that people need to do for sure, because especially in PPC, it's always changing, and it's
Yeah.
so quick, and the results vary so much, and if you're not on the ball, you could just be lost.
hmm Yeah, I agree. So yeah, there's just so much going on. So I would suggest, getting on top of all the new releases last year is super important. And then you can figure out which ones are for you and which ones aren't. We generally have like a testing mindset. We generally test out things super early so that we can figure out for ourselves what works for us and what doesn't. Sometimes things really work really well, and then we just keep them in our toolbox, and then everything else we just put on the sideline and see if if anything evolves. Like sometimes the algorithm evolves, and then it's kind of good to kind of go back and revisit some of those new features. But it's really good to have either you yourself doing it or being part of a community that is constantly testing and then learning from everybody else, asking, is this working, not working? To give you an example, there was the release of sponsored display video,
Right.
which was like pretty cool because obviously sponsored brand videos have been around for about 2 or 3 years, but then sponsored display video came about, and then sponsored display video tends to show outside of Amazon, which kind of is a nice place to get new customers, right? It's not just bottom of funnel, it's a little bit top of funnel. But then people with concerns about ROAS will find it a little disappointing because, of course, it's like impression based, and not everybody remembers your brand, and not everybody needs to remember your brand. If it's not one that has like a need to keep coming back, it's quite okay to not invest too much in top of funnel advertising. So I guess it's important to know where you are and which advertising product is for your brand and what works for you, given all your constraints and your goals and all that good stuff. So yeah, I think so, knowing first of all what all is out there, and then picking and choosing, maybe cherry picking based on your constraints. That would be one. And then I would say that, just being aware that cost per clicks are going up and they will continue to go up. They're not coming down. The baseline is it has been left far behind, and we're just going to go up from here, right? So I was seeing CPCs of less than a dollar about 2 years ago, and now it's like way above that, sometimes touching two on average. And then like this, I'm talking about opening bids. Even they start at like $2 to even get impressions, and then once you want to compete on certain keywords and try to rank for them, then obviously you need to pay a lot more than that, right? So it's easy for people to be spending $4, $5 a click, even to get to the top of the search results page. So that's the other thing to kind of be aware of in the background that's happening. And then, of course, the third thing is the proportion of Chinese sellers on Amazon has just gone up and up and up, and is going to continue to go up and up and up. So I think at the moment it's about 70%, but I might be wrong. Even the way they report it might be a little bit different, and so that might put that number even higher. And so we're basically competing in this environment where we have tons of Chinese sellers who might be willing to lose money in order to just get the bestseller badge, because that's generally their goal. They want to be at the top,
Mhm.
and they don't really care about profits in the now. They just want those badges, right? All of the badges, and then once they've done that. Then they start changing their strategies. But there's also something that everybody knows, that Chinese sellers have multiple accounts, right? So they don't have much to lose, whereas we do, right? We have a lot to lose when anything goes wrong. We can't afford to think of like black hat. No, that's completely not okay, and it's out of the way. But for a lot of Chinese sellers, that might be an option, and so gaming of the system continues, and so we have to understand that that's what we're up against. So given that background, we have to adjust our strategies, and we've got to constantly evolve and be aware of what's going on in order to succeed with Amazon PPC, which is absolutely something that you can't avoid. You need Amazon PPC to succeed on Amazon.
Okay. Now, I do know that you have some slides as well. Do you wanna get
Yes.
into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will share my screen here. Slides.
I always like your slides.
Oh, thank you. So how do I do this? I say
Let me
present.
see.
Oh, there we go. Share screen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Share screen.
There we go. And I can
Okay.
add to stage. There we go.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, I put together these slides, keeping one thing in mind, which is basically that, you are in the business of leveraging data. Like you might think that you're selling products, but actually you're in the business of leveraging data, from the time you pick a product to the time you kind of start advertising and then, get into the maintenance phase. You're always being in that space where you've got to look at data and you've got to make decisions based on data, right? So that's basically the business you're in. So some of the strategies that I've put together here are actually looking at some of those free tools that you get from Amazon that are super helpful. They have a ton of data, and probably you haven't either dug into them deep enough, or you don't know what they are, or how to use them and stuff like that. So I want to just touch on a few of those. Just to give you an example, there's Product Opportunity Explorer, there's Brand Metrics, there's Search Query Performance. There's so much in there that yeah, I mean, New Year is a good time to kind of sit down and, set the stage for the rest of the year. So I thought this might be a good time to kind of revisit some of those data-rich tools that are available to us so that we can make our advertising really powerful in 2024. So I'm going to start with niche research. Now, I'm not talking about niche research from the point of view of sourcing a product or doing any of that stuff in the early stages of your product development. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you've already figured out what your product is, you're already selling it, and now you just want to go back to the numbers and see where you stand, right? I'm picking it up from there. So this is important because this will tell you how strong the niche is, whether it's growing or declining, and this will also give you some idea of whether you should continue with this product long term, or is there too much competition? Is the market too fragmented, or
Oh,
is it
Ritu,
consolidated? Yeah,
sorry for interrupting, but just for the podcast listeners,
yeah.
if you could maybe let everybody know when you go to these different sheets or pages where they're located and describe it a little bit as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I am on this screenshot of the Product Opportunity Explorer. And Product Opportunity Explorer allows you to enter some keywords, like just basic keywords. For example, I've just typed protein bars. That was my keyword. And basically what Product Opportunity Explorer gives you back is a bunch of what they call customer needs. Now, customer needs are a collection of search terms, right? So you have a niche, then you have customer needs, and then you have search terms. That's basically the hierarchy. So on my screen, I'm showing customer need as protein bars. There's other customer needs in this space, such as vegan protein bars or clean protein bars, ready clean protein bars, etc., etc. So these are just customer needs. It's just a way Amazon groups keywords together, right? Now, if you look to the right, there's some detail about search volume, and this has the total search volume for that customer need, but it also has growth statistics in the past 180 days and the past 90 days, right? So that's where I've basically highlighted. The bars here basically growth over 180 days and growth over past 90 days will tell you what the general trend is for that keyword, even without looking at a trend chart, right? So this is something you want to just quickly browse over and see, okay, this space is growing. No, this space is declining. That's basically one little piece of information that I like to look at when I look at customer needs. Now, within customer needs, I have top search terms. So I can actually go into each search term and then explore the trends on that search term a little bit more. Right. So what happens with search term information is that Amazon gives you a bunch of different details. It will tell you all the products that those search terms represent, right? It will also tell you whether the trend is going up or down. It'll also tell you what the price point is for that collection. And you can also find out how many brands are coming and going. So the number of brand count, that's another one that's visible in those trends. So let me just move on to the next slide, which gives you a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about here. This is niche trends. Within your niche trend, you can see in the orange, you can see product count, and you can see it over a 1 year period. And you can see how it's gone up from 40 products in this space to close to 120 products, right? And then the search volume also has gone up quite a bit, right? Um, Now, uh, this is really interesting because if you count the total number of products, if it's growing, then you know that the competition is going up, and which basically means that you might have more competitors to target with advertising, right? You might have started your product, let's say 6 months ago or a year ago or whatever, but now there's more competitors in the market, so you can actually use that information to kind of go and dig into who these competitors are. And guess what? Amazon actually now gives you the competitors, which is crazy. It wasn't there before. This is something very, very new. They are actually giving us up to 1,000 competitors per niche. And this is what it looks like. It's on my screen. The competitor research from Product Opportunity Explorer. When you click into the niche itself, and you look at products, if you click on the tab that says products, then you will see all of the products. In fact, you will also get all the information like the ASIN, the brand count. You'll also get brand name. You will also get how many clicks they received, conversion rates, price points, everything, even BSR and ratings, I believe. So there's a lot of information there. So how would you use this information? Well, one of the shifts that I've personally started making with my advertising is that I'm not just focused on keywords. I'm also looking at products. Why? Because we have this great leverage with product targeting. We can use product targeting through all the ad types, through sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored video, sponsored display. All of them have product targeting, which means you have like 4 different ways you could target these competitors. Now, would you target every competitor out there? Probably not. So it depends on your strategy. So there will be some competitors that have a lot going for them in their favor, such as very high review count, very favorable price point, always running lightning deals, etc., etc. So there'll be those competitors that are highly visible and very aggressive, right? So should you or should you not target those competitors? I'm just going to set that question aside for a minute. But then there's this vast majority of competitors that come and go. They're not super strong. They're not super weak either. They have a decent search volume. They have a decent review count. They have a good price point. Maybe they're very similar to yours, both in features as well as review count and price offering. So what do you do about those? That collection of competitors. Well, those are probably easier to go after because people are open to consideration. They're open to recommendations. When you're searching for one product and other products ads show up, and let's say there's something about that product that is attractive, there will be a hop. Customers make those hops all the time. In fact, Amazon has trained us. They've trained all the shoppers to keep clicking, so there's always an opportunity, to steal sales from competitors at the last stage of the funnel, at the bottom of the funnel. So I'm talking about sponsored display ads or sponsored targeting ads where you can place your ad on your competitors' pages and then steal very highly qualified shoppers, because you know that they're already looking for a protein bar. Now your protein bar shows up on that page, so you know they are qualified. They're not just looking around, they're not just browsing, they're actually researching. So if you get your shoppers to consider you at that phase, you're probably going to win those conversions cheaper than if you were to actually bid on expensive keywords such as protein bars. A protein bar keyword will cost you like $5, $7, $8, $10 per click, whereas placing an ad on a competitor page that already has someone browsing it will probably cost you $1, $1.50, $2, something like that, right? So you have a lot of value for money by using competitor targeting, right? So I'm really keen on switching more and more of our advertising budget towards competitor targeting, right? So this is something that is a good repository for people to look at, the product opportunity explorer, competitor details. And then I'm going to switch gears away from Product Opportunity Explorer at this point and then move to search terms, right? Search term volume, which comes from brand analytics. Now, brand analytics has also undergone a lot of changes. It used to be called brand analytics earlier, but then it was kind of bundled in with a lot of other new features such as the search query performance, search catalog performance, etc. And then brand analytics actually got renamed to top searches. So top searches is still there. You just have to click on it. It's in one of the drop downs within search analytics. So look for top searches, go in there and then type whatever search term you want to kind of explore or have more insight on. So I've typed protein bars here, and as you can see, I'm getting the top, I think it's about 10,000 searches that are related to that word, and they will include that word in some position, either at the top of the word or the bottom or the middle somewhere. So I have words like protein bars, pure protein bars, aloha protein bars, and so on. Now, the number that's shown here right next to the search term is search frequency rank. Search frequency rank basically means the rank of how frequently that search is searched on Amazon. So the smaller the number, the more frequently it is searched, right? So that's a proxy for search volume. And so search terms, I wish Amazon could just simply give us search volume right here, but they don't. So we just have to do some approximation here and look for words that have a low search frequency rank, and then make sure that you are including those in your title, definitely. Now, when it comes to advertising, should you be going after big words, category words like protein bars? Well, there's you'll have to come up with a strategy so that you don't spend a lot of money on those big words. So generally speaking, the strategy is to have a long tail word that includes the short tail word. So the long tail word is what you bid on more aggressively, whereas the short tail word is the one that you don't bid on that aggressively till you have organic ranking for it, right? So that's generally been the best practice as it has evolved over the years. It's no longer about like going aggressive on those short tail words like protein bars. You're going to blow through a lot of money and not be able to get enough data or buy enough data with the amount of budget you have set aside for your PPC. So trying to follow those strategies, you can use a bunch of tools out there also, like you could use Data Dive, you could use Helium 10, Cerebro, etc. And you can figure out all the different words in that space and then look for long tail words, but then also analyze those words carefully. We use a lot of ChatGPT to kind of clean up our lists so that we have semantically accurate or very closely related words and not just all the words that are suggested by such tools. because some of those words could be a little bit off, a little bit on the periphery. They might not be as targeted. So you want to have your keyword research strategy pretty solid, right? Because now, more than ever, the choice of keyword matters, right? You're only left with very few keywords that you can actually do anything about, given how competitive the space has become. So I would definitely recommend using all of these tools that are available to you to kind of figure out what your strategy is going to be. So now I'm going to shift gears to repeat purchases and return on engagement using brand metrics. So what is this? So brand metrics is a sub tool within your campaign manager or advertising console, right? So if you go to your advertising console, on the left, you'll see a bunch of icons, and one of them close to the bottom is brand metrics, right? You want to click gosh, I can't remember what the actual thing was. I'm just remembering in my mind, it's like a arrow pointing upwards. It's a trend line icon. Click on that, go into brand metrics, look for brand metrics essentially. Now, what is brand metrics? This is a really great tool that gives you all the summary information about your brand as a whole. It includes both advertising as well as organic data. And it gives you some really cool metrics, such as this one that I've highlighted on the screen. It's called return on engagement. So what is this? So return on engagement is a measure of the amount of money a shopper spends on your brand after the first purchase. So let's say they made a purchase in January of last year, and they spent, let's say, $50 on your brand. And then they came back for more, and then they came back for more again. So this is someone who likes your brand and wants to keep coming back and is a repeat purchaser, by that definition. So the amounts that are shown in row 1, 2, and 3 are basically, row 1 is basically the return on engagement from your top 10% shoppers and your subscribe and save shoppers. So this is the amount of money they spent on your brand after the first purchase. The second row here is basically not the top of not the top 10 purchasers, but the general set of shoppers that spent money on your brand. So as you can see here, the first row is showing me $435.97 spent as a return on engagement by your top shoppers, which is great. And then the second row shows you the general amount, which is 74.96, which is also great, right? So that's pretty cool that someone has come back to shop again from you. Now, in some cases, especially with supplements or things that require replenishment, those sorts of products will have a return of engagement that is pretty meaningful. So here's what you want to do with this data. You want to calculate your true tacos, not just the tacos of that one investment that you made in one ad, right? You want to calculate your spend on your brand and divide it by like the total sale that's possible through that customer over the year. So this is 12 months data. So you can actually multiply it and then divide it, and you can figure out what your true tacos is, which means you can figure out how far your dollar will stretch. It's not just for that one PPC sale, but if you do it right and you also combine that one PPC sale with a remarketing ad, which is a great combination, especially when you have a high repeat purchase rate. That combination will get you those people back to buy, right? And that's how you can make your advertising dollars go much further. Now, obviously, for someone that doesn't have a product that has a high repeat purchase rate, this strategy probably won't apply to you, and so it's okay to ignore it. But you might also want to consider having a product in the mix that does have these properties where people want to come back for it, right? So I'm seeing more and more that those who are opting in for products that could run on a subscribe and save model are going to generally have a better profitability, a better return on engagement. So even the products you pick going forward, try to think of ways that you can get there, right? Because otherwise it's just going to be a one-time purchase, and then you're going to spend all the money just trying to get to the first page, and it's not going to be pretty in terms of like profitability at all. Cool. So then let's come back to some basics, right? I'm talking here about branded versus non-branded campaigns. I'm talking about best practices around how you structure campaigns and make sure that your dollar goes even further. Now, if you have campaigns where your branded keywords and non-branded keywords are somehow mixed together, they're just like disorganized. I'm guilty of this myself in the past. Like we used to just put all keywords into the same campaign and let it run and just let Amazon figure out which ones. Which words get picked up and get traction. But it's really important to have this segregation of branded versus non-branded campaigns so that you can set your target ACoS on those two types of campaigns differently, right? A lot of tools out there, including our own tool, PPC Ninja, will allow you to set a target ACoS at the campaign level, right? And so you can actually create campaigns, name them appropriately, which means you basically use a good tagging system. So for example, -BR, like that could be a tag for your branded campaigns, or -NBR could be a tag for your non-branded campaigns. In the non-branded campaign, you basically want to negate your branded terms as well as negate all your SKUs and your ASINs, right? That's basically how you can get to a clean non-branded campaign. So once you've done that, then it's just a matter of measuring things and seeing, seeing how your branded keywords can be kept at a low target ACoS, because if it's a branded keyword and someone actually types your brand name, then it means that they have very high purchase intent from your brand because they came in with that search. And so you should try to aim for highly profitable conversions there and not just pay the same price that you're paying for everything else, right? That doesn't make sense. So you want to be profitable on your branded, and the non-branded is, of course, the strategy you'll need for basically getting ranking for certain keywords, etc. Now, we're actually testing this out even with auto campaigns. And you might say, how is that possible? Because auto campaigns don't have keywords. They just go after the whole universe of words out there, and Amazon gets to decide which search terms get mapped or matched to auto campaigns. But the way we're doing this is that we are it's easy to do the non-branded auto campaign. That's easy. You can just negate all of your keywords and then also negate products. So basically your list of ASINs, you have to put that through negative product targeting on those. And so now you have a clean non-branded campaign. But on the branded side of things, the branded auto campaign is basically assuming that your branded keywords are the only ones that will show up in that, or the majority of the words that will show up in a branded auto campaign are your branded keywords, by virtue of the fact that you've kept your target ACoS so low. So your bids are going to be super low. And so the only words that will get matched through that mechanism are likely going to be mostly your branded keywords, right? So that's how you keep these two like separate. You want to keep them separated. And this is a strategy that's working for us. And this has also helped to prevent auto campaigns from completely spending the money on branded words, right? So it's given a chance to other words, and those are doing really well. So I'd encourage you guys to test this out. If it works for you, that'll be great. Now let's come to search query performance. And this is, I think, by far one of my favorite tools on Amazon, especially because it gives us so much data about all those search terms that Amazon thinks are relevant for our brand. So why is this important? search terms that Amazon thinks are relevant are probably worth bidding on because you've already got Amazon's blessings on them. And now you just need to make sure that all the gaps are filled out and that you are actually bidding on those words and you are adding them to the back end somewhere, either into your product description or the A plus images, etc. So finding out those words from search query performance is really great. But the thing that we have evolved to over the past 1 year is looking at trends. So what we've done is that we have a system where we download the search query performance report at the ASIN level on a monthly basis, and then we stitch them all together. In a previous episode of Lunch with Norm, I talked about search query performance. Maybe you can look at that and look at the data room concept and so on. But here I have on the screen like a trend of search volume starting from March 2023 all the way to September 2023. It's just an example where I have search queries on one side, and then I have search volume for each search query as a trend, which is kind of cool. It's hard to see this trend if you're just looking at a snapshot, right? So you can see here that the first search query out there has gone from 117,000 searches down to 93,000 searches, and then in September it's come back up to 111,000 searches. Why is search volume important? Search volume is important because Amazon's search algorithm is changing all the time. And so certain keywords get prioritized over others through the autocomplete dropdowns. So the autocomplete is something that people will start typing into the search bar, and then they'll find something in that drop down, and then they will just scroll down to that and click on it, right? So that basically becomes the way that Amazon indirectly shifts search volumes. I mean, I don't think they're doing it intentionally or anything, but it's just search volume will shift because they ended up typing or selecting something that was in that list. Now, if the list kind of undergoes some sort of rearrangement, then it's quite possible that your previously well-searched volume keyword is now no longer searched because it's gone down in visibility and it's not the word that you should be bidding on or should be focusing on. So that's why it's important to look at your search volume trend over time, not just as a graph, but in actual numbers, like the way I'm showing on the screen. So you can start collecting your search query performance reports, stitching them together. If you need help with this, we actually have a service at PPC Ninja. We offer this at a very, very reasonable rate. It's almost unbelievable, too good to be true. So if you need help here, hit me up on that. But then we've got other stuff also from this search query performance analysis, and here is an example of the number of purchases of your brand over time for a particular search term. So I'm going to just explain it for those who are on audio only. So what I have here on the screen is search query. Then I have ASIN, because what I've done is that in this report consolidation or in this data warehouse, I have all of my ASINs and all of the search terms that are shared amongst those ASINs. So I can actually see everything, like the whole picture of this one search term applies to all these ASINs, and this is how much they earned in terms of like revenue or in terms of like units sold, etc., etc. So what I'm showing here is the trend of brand purchases over time, right? Starting from July all the way to November, I can see how brand purchases for that search query actually changed over time, and that's really another way of finding out whether you have kind of some advantage over certain other keywords when you can actually see, oh, this keyword is actually bringing in 500 purchases, whereas this other keyword is only bringing in about 2. So those are some relative numbers that you can compare and see which query is like superior to the other for your brand. And this analysis actually also helps us to prioritize keywords that we want to go aggressive on, especially if you see some strength in those keywords. So now let me just stop here a little bit and show you how we're doing the analysis here. And this is what we call the data room. It's a Looker Studio report where we're matching all search terms to the different ASINs from our brand and seeing, oh, okay, this is how much this search term brought in for this ASIN, and so on. So what you're seeing on the screen is called a Sankey chart or a Sankey diagram, where you can basically connect one piece of data with another and kind of just see how they're matching up to each other. And then here at the bottom, or this section here, is where we're actually analyzing each search term, and we're trying to figure out what is the strength of each search term. And the way I'm calculating strength here is that we are basically dividing the purchase share by impression share, and that's how you get to know like how strong that search term is. And once you find strength, so I'm going to sort this descending by strength. So once you find strong words that you know that you're winning a majority of the purchase share, and that majority is higher than the impression share you're winning, you know that this is a good word to go after. So once you find this out, what's the next logical step? What you want to do now is to stitch this data up with your ad data, because you're already running a bunch of keywords. You already have certain search terms that are coming in through auto campaigns, through other campaigns, and then you want to stitch this data together to find out where are the gaps, which keywords from your ad data are either not winning impressions or winning clicks or winning sales. But on the SQP side, it's showing this as a strong keyword. So then what happened? I mean, a number of things could have happened. One of the things that could have happened is that those search terms or those keywords, let's say, were combined with a bunch of other keywords, and they never really got impressions. So it's worth a try. It's worth a second shot, because your search query data is saying, hey, this is a strong word, and your ad data is saying, oh, nothing happened here. Okay, so now you're going to stitch those together and give those keywords a second shot. So you've done gap analysis, and now you're trying to figure out how to push those words again and see if you can revive them, right? Because see, advertising is a nonstop. I would say it's more than a full-time job, because you can be looking for data and it can be endless, right? So big shout out to all the agencies out there who have to do this, all the time. So you start combining these pieces of data, find the gap analysis, and then go try to give a chance to the words that you're already strong for, as far as Amazon's data is concerned. But then you can even go to the next step, which is stitch this data together with another piece of data which comes from keyword ranking, right? So you collect search query data, ad data, and keyword rank data and figure out where are you strong in terms of ranking, right? Now, ranking is like basically there's the definition of ranking would be, in my opinion, would be anything that's ranking on page 1 is technically ranking. Anything on 2 and 3, it's okay. We don't really need to care about those as much, except for when they are important keywords, and then you want to push them up to page 1. And even above the fold, etc. So even if you can get page 1 data through a number of tools out there, you can start to see the whole picture now, because now you've got data that you're organically strong with, you've got data that you're advertising on, and now you're checking where those positions lie. Like, are you below the fold, above the fold, where exactly you are on that page, and then you can decide how strong you want to go. If you're, let's say, just below the fold and you want to just push it a little bit higher, then you can actually do that with ads. Whereas if you're already ranking above the fold, then pushing higher on those keywords may or may not give you benefits. In fact, you might spend a lot more than you're willing to, in which case you can kind of ease a little bit on the ads. You don't want to stop them ever, because you definitely want to keep giving Amazon the signals that will help you stay at that position, right? Plus, it'll help you with brand defense and things like that. So, getting all of this all together, we're recommending using some sort of data warehouse where all of this data streams in from different sources, and then you use a tool like Looker Studio in the front to kind of learn from it and create all kinds of interesting dashboards and analyze your data further. But the point of all this is it all boils down to how you're reading the data and how you're leveraging the data, because there's just too much competition out there. So the quicker you get onto this, the better it will be for you in the long run. So I think, Norm, that's the last slide I had. Feel free to, just have a conversation here or ask questions if anybody has
Okay.
any. Yeah.
Well, just one sec. I know I'm going to cough. Hopefully I hit mute. Okay. So
You
let
did.
me, good. Okay. So let me see. First question. Okay, Lavkesh. What's the best PPC strategy for vitamin supplements given high or very high CPC, pretty low reviews versus competitors? External traffic is not cheaper too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that question. And so honestly, the slide that I showed about brand metrics was the right one for you, because what you want to do is you want to calculate the total tacos, the true tacos, not just the short-term tacos where you just divide the spend by the total sales. You actually want to do some projections here to see how many times people come back. If one customer is going to buy from you today, they're also likely to buy from you 3 or 4 times in a year. And you can do that calculation, that math very easily by just looking at the return on engagement section and find out how many times this person is likely to come back. And then you estimate how much that would be in terms of the extra sales that will come in. And then over a period of 1 year, you can say, this is the amount of spend, this is the amount of total sales, and that's what my true tacos is. So that's the one thing that I would recommend trying to figure out sooner rather than later, because it's quite possible that your supplement may not sell more than 2 in a year, in which case, what's the point of going super aggressive on those keywords that are only going to give you like 2x return or 1x return, right? So number one, that's the thing you would look at. And then I would do a lot of category targeting with refinements. So what is category targeting with refinements? Refinements are a way to tell Amazon that, hey, I want to show my ads to these brands only, or this price range only, or to products that have a review rating worse than mine. So you want to show up where other people have some gaps. That's the leverage you have by using refinements. So it's kind of a lesser known thing because it's also a little hidden. You have to actually look for the word refine. It's kind of in fine print. So go ahead and click on that, and then from the brand selection dropdown, you can actually check off all the brands that you want to target. So maybe if it's very competitive and you don't want to target the big brands, that's where you want to go. You want to target all the small ones where people are already searching or have some sort of external traffic that they're sending to their pages. So then you show up there and then your product looks better. Now, obviously, you want to do things like coupons and stuff like that. Now, always having an always on coupon strategy is what we recommend. Why? Because coupons give you this nice badge. It's basically for the badge. It doesn't matter what the amount is. It doesn't matter whether it's a percentage off or $1 off. It doesn't matter. Like we've done so many tests. Just having a coupon alone can help you get visibility. It helps you stand out. And then you can do something called deal stacking, which I think I heard from, I'm not sure actually, I'm losing track of where I heard about deal stacking from. But deal stacking is a way of having more than one coupon on a single um, ASIN. So how do you do that? Well, you can do prime exclusive deals, and then you can also add a coupon to that. And that way people will see, oh, I'm getting this and I'm getting this. And that's one way of kind of standing out from the crowd and generating some amount of momentum, uh, so that Amazon sees you as relevant for certain, uh, either certain products that you're relevant for or certain keywords that you're relevant for. But in any case, having deal stacking is another way to kind of help with generating some sort of momentum, especially as you say, there's pretty low reviews. So I would say the first couple of months are where you're trying to build, basically build your momentum, and you will have those practical problems of we don't have too many reviews. Everybody else has a ton of reviews. So that's going to be definitely some of the strategies. And then external traffic, I just want to say that I think Norm would be the right one to answer this because they do so much with TikTok and stuff like that. I mean, influencer marketing is probably one of the best external traffic sources out there, like more than, I don't know, more than Google ads or Facebook ads. It's just influencers, just using influencers as much as you can because someone or the other is going to be part of their community and they will buy from them because they're not. See, the thing with influencers is that they already have a following and those followers are already connected with them, so it's easier for those people to just say, okay, whatever you say, we will follow you, type of thing. So you don't have to convince them about your product, you just have to let the influencer do their magic, right? So I don't know, Norm, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I like that as well. Influencer marketing 2023 was big. I think it's going to be just as big going into 2024. And I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that there'll probably be a variety of new channels in influencer marketing that are going to pop up that should work well. If you're not working with we had Brandon Fields on the other day from Rebate. I forget what his influencer channel is called, but that's just a network. It's like Billow. You can go out there, and if you even want to use not so much the influencer, but the influencer network to create really inexpensive product videos and unboxing videos, things that you could use on your listing. That's the way to go. They're so inexpensive. And, but I do believe that the nano micro influencer route is still a great way to get exposure.
Yeah, and I think Norm, I am not sure about TikTok, but does TikTok allow supplements to be promoted? Um, do you know?
I'm not sure. My
Yeah.
gut feel is no, but there's probably
Mm.
people rolling their eyes going, of course they do. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, I kind of heard something about that. So, Lovekesh, you can also maybe check that out. Like, if TikTok isn't the way, then I'm sure there's other ways that you can find influencers and create some virality around your product there.
Yeah, and we've got lots of podcasts about influencers, how to find them, how to communicate with them. So you could just check it out, and you'll be able to find that. There's a bunch of people that we've had on. Okay, next question. Okay, I don't know the Facebook user. I don't know how Kelsey gets their names, but he makes them up. Okay, so please tell us about your launch strategy in German or in the pan-European market. Also, if it's feasible to run auto in a start launching date, or we should try exact match for 2 weeks in the start.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, in terms of in German, I don't think I have experience with that. I mean, I have experience with Japan, so I can tell you a little bit from the Japanese side of things. And perhaps the point of your mentioning this is it's a different language, right? So how do you do it in a different language? So first of all, we do our keyword research in English. Obviously, we think in English, so we're doing it in English. But then we use tools to convert our keywords into the other language. So ChatGPT has a much, 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 much better translation than Google Translate. Like you won't believe it. We've tested the quality of both, and ChatGPT's version is much better. So look for opportunities there to convert it. And then you can do a reverse conversion to double check that whatever has been converted is actually the right conversion back into English. So go from English to German to English. That's the way to double check that you've got your list right. So you're not flying blind, you know. So that's the first thing I would say about the language part of it. And then in terms of like auto versus exact match, now there are many people out there that have tried different methods. So I just want to explain those different methods so that it's not about this method is better than the other, or this is wrong, this is right. You'll have to figure out what works for you, and I'll just lay out some of those challenges with which one should go first. So there's some people that say don't ever launch with auto because Amazon does not know your product yet. So if you try to run with auto, then you are going to end up with garbage words and you waste a bunch of money. And then they also recommend that you should only start with exact match first, and then run them for a while, and then you add in the auto campaign. So there's that school of people. The other school of people have this belief that auto campaign is the best way you can get visibility fast. So those auto campaigns go out fast. They look for a bunch of related words, semantically related words, etc. You give Amazon the control to kind of go and find all of those keywords and like using a searchlight, and then you start to negate, and whatever doesn't work, you just kill it, right? So that's a quick way to get volume in terms of traffic, because your exact matches are not going to give you that much search volume. It's going to be tight. You might not even get impressions unless you bid super high, right? That's the only way to kind of start getting exact matches to start working. I don't know what your experience is there, but generally speaking, auto campaigns run fast, exact matches go slow. And so what would you like in your launch? Would you like to be very targeted on exact matches and just make sure that you get those keywords to rank first before you go after volume? Or do you want to quickly buy data using auto and then figure out what doesn't work and then negate that? Both those strategies are fine. It depends on what game you're playing. Are you playing the ranking game, or are you playing the I want to sell profitably kind of game? So depending on that, your opportunities are, these are the opportunities. You'll just have to figure out how to go after this. I'll give you an example of one. It's a third example, by the way, of launch strategy where we launched this furniture brand in the US. It's a European furniture brand launched in the US that we did not run any keyword ads for. Zero, no keyword ads. All we did was product targeting, but with refinements. So category targeting with refinements, because obviously furniture is expensive, and if you just use the general furniture terms like chair or whatever, you'll get those cheap Chinese products showing up at the top of the page. You're not going to get a $500 chair showing up on page one. There's no way you can rank for that word, right? So what you do, you do category refinements and say price point starts at $350, because you know that if you're targeting someone who's already looking at pages that have minimum of $350 of products, then if your ad shows up there, that's more targeted than just going after the keyword, right? So in this case, even if you did an exact match on the chair, you would have to spend a lot of money before you could get any relevance built up. Whereas what we were able to do was very quickly get the furniture brand not only ranked for the category with refinements, but then also overall as well. So here are some of the examples of launch strategy. Oh, Norm, you might be on mute.
All right. This is the last question.
Yeah.
Okay. Please share some of your experiences regarding SPTV ads.
Yeah, so not yet. We have an experiment or two running, but this is super new. So unfortunately, I don't have any results to share, but I'm assuming this is going to be very similar to DSP. So we have run TV ads on DSP. They're called OTT. So we've done that. Now the thing is, because they are impression based, you will spend a lot of money first. And the strategy generally will be good for brands that are looking for brand awareness rather than purchases right in the moment. So just be aware, who is this strategy for? The TV ads are meant for someone who's browsing Fire TV, this and that, who's watching TV, and then they see your ad. It has to be memorable enough for it to have a certain amount of brand recall. So you want to make sure that your brand is embedded in it, nice and bold at the beginning, at the end, and also throughout. I really like to look at the Super Bowl ads. You know, the what is it, Norm? The Doritos. They
Oh,
always have a very funny, cool ad. It's memorable, and they generally have their branding on every single frame of their videos. They don't just have a video running. If you notice, somewhere in the top corner, right or left or somewhere, they will have Doritos kind of faded, blended in with the rest of the imagery there. And then they have the Doritos in the beginning and the end. So brand recall is so important, because remember that these people are not interested in seeing your ad at that point. They're waiting to skip to their movie or whatever. And the only way they can remember and recall is if you rub it in, like if you really show it nice and bold and mention it a couple of times, like the Geico ads or whatever. They just keep saying Geico, Geico this, Geico that, and then the whole absurdity of the ad makes it. So it's very rare for like a really good TV commercial to leave such an impact that someone will actually go to Amazon later on, and then they will click, and they will just kind of type out that brand name and search for it, right? So just keep those points in mind, because don't think that a SPTV ad would be something like it's not going to be like sponsored brand video ads. It's because those are showing on platform, whereas what we're talking about is off platform. So there's a little bit of recall that you need to build with the quality of your content, and also know that it's not going to convert right away.
okay. Well, I think everybody's going to have to listen to this twice, maybe even 3 times. That was great. Thanks so much. It's New Year's Day, and I really appreciate you spending your time and sharing your time with us today.
Oh, thank you so much, Norma. I mean, I couldn't think of a better way than to have lunch with you.
There we go. Doritos.
Yay.
We'll have some Doritos.
Okay, let's do that. I'm hungry.
Okay. And what I have to say, we were into this, and Kelsey's not here. I have no clue how to run this wheel of Kelsey. So what we're going to do is, we do have a prize today, but we're going to draw 2 prizes on Wednesday, and that's going to be a PPC audit with Ritu. So that's awesome. It's a great giveaway. So on Wednesday, that's our AI Wednesday version, we're going to be having 2 draws at the wheel. And that's it. If anybody wants to get in contact, or how do they get PPC Ninja, what do they have to do?
Yep. So you can just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there. So my full name, Ritujava, Ritu Java. And then just to mention, we are PPC advertising and PPC services agency. We also run a special service for search query performance data. So if anyone is interested or wondering how to get search query performance data out of their ads and into a Looker Studio, we actually offer that as a service. So reach out to support@ppcninja.com, and we'll be happy to share all the details. That's it.
Want more great information? Don't forget to subscribe by clicking here. Also, if you want to check out our latest podcast, click over here.
Lunch with Lou, lunch with Lou, lunch with Lou.